Filmz TV præsenteres i samarbejde med Komplet.dk. Velkommen til en særlig København DOX ekstra udsendelse af Filmz TV. I dag skal det handle om den svenske Everyone is older than I am. Et ekstremt fascinerende portræt af en af Skandinaviens allerstørste kunstnerfamilier, Widerberg-slægten. Mange er formentlig bekendte med svenske Bo Widerbergs skelsættende film fra 1960'erne, såsom Oprøret i Ådalen og den hjerteskærende Elvira Madigan, som var så stærk, at den endte med at lægge navn til en af Mozarts klaversatser, som Widerberg brugte i filmen. Bo Widerberg døde pludseligt af mavekræft som 66-årig i 1997, før han havde haft mulighed for at færdiggøre en dokumentar om sin far, Arvid Widerberg, en hædret maler. Men nu har Bos søn, 47-årig Martin Widerberg, færdiggjort filmen Everyone is older than I am, hvor han også inddrager sine egne 2 sønner, således at filmen er endt som et portræt af 4 forskellige generationer i en ekstraordinær familie. Og selvom det måske kan lyde som et meget privat familieportræt, der ikke umiddelbart har den store værdi for folk, som ikke har Widerberg som efternavn, så er det altså en virkelig rørende og smuk film. En film, hvor Martin Widerberg fornemt bruger alskens billeder, interviewstumper og klip fra faderens film til at skabe en slags filmisk mosaik, der er med til at gøre Bo Widerberg lettere at greje, og ikke blot for publikummet, men også for hans egen søn Martin, som aldrig helt fik mulighed for at knytte et ordentligt bånd til sin ofte fraværende far. Det er også en uhyre interessant film om at ofre sig for passionen og om den naturlige længsel en søn har efter sin fars anerkendelse. Vi mødte Martin under årets Copenhagen Pix i København for at tale om hans mesterlige portrætfilm, som bogstaveligt talt har været flere årtier undervejs. Og først og fremmest var det jo oplagt at spørge Martin, om han selv havde været nervøs for, at filmen ville ende som en privat og kold filmoplevelse, snarere end en personlig en af slagsen, som andre ville kunne relatere sig til.
That was very clear for me from the beginning for us that we wanted to make a film. It has to be it's a medium that communicates, and if you can't reach the audience, it really doesn't work out. So we really worked hard to balance that so that it wouldn't be too much. And for me, it's of course a private story, but I never really seen it as only a private story, but that has a relevance, I think, to many people and many families. And it also has in a way, relevance also with the background of my father's films. You know, just the fact that he did films about his family situation, and you know, at the same time, one of his sons tries to do a film about the film within a film. That kind of aspect of it whole really interests me. Just the pure fact that I go ahead and do a film about that is for me, as if I think about myself as a viewer or what I like to see. I think that's very interesting. I think that we managed to put people through an emotional journey, that it has, the impact that you realize that you can change, that you're able to change, and it is important that you try to make something of yourself and try to make something with your relationships, and also maybe a humbling experience, as it has been for me, that it's, nobody's perfect, but as long as you try, as long as you keep trying, that's maybe good enough.
One of the things that you said after the movie was that it was good to get it out of the system in a way. Has this movie also been sort of a therapy session for you?
Yes, a very complicated therapy session. No, for me it has been a journey back to childhood, and in a way it's done out of a child's perspective. I gone back to the 60s and before I was born, and really tried to find that core, that family core, the feeling that both tore our family apart, but also stayed it together. Made it stick together and made them and make us do art and film. And I think that we managed to do that. I think that we managed to find that core feeling, and it stick with that throughout the film. And we really worked hard to keep the movie and keep the audience connected to the film. I had a strong wish not to throw you emotionally out of the film, but rather keep there all the time.
But one of the things that I thought was very interesting is the way that you use clips from your father's films. Yeah. It seems very much that there are a few clips from interviews, but not very much. So it's almost like your father's represented through his films. Also, that in many of these clips, it's discussions between father and son as well, in a way. Was that a conscious choice to work with the clips in that way?
Yeah. So the nothing is in the film that doesn't need to be in the film. It's hard work to make four people, to make the audience connected to four characters in this film. So also the clips from my father's films has a story, an emotional story to tell that relates to this film. Both the longing, the wishful longing for love, is going outwards, the family situation, now I am a writer, the self-respect and the journey, and also this melancholic, the melancholy in Elvira Madigan, and the passion, which illustrates and is spoken directly from my father's view on things and how he related to his family and life. And of course, as this film is about our family history, and Bo's film also is related directly to family history, they fit in.
And it's also interesting, one of the things that I started thinking about was that your father's movies was sort of a therapy for him as well. I got that sense when he was talking to your grandfather in that scene where he's like probing him to say, what parts do you like from my movies? And then when they're talking about the scene with the lake, it's like, yes, I remember what scene you're talking about, that's the one. It's like you're connecting through the film to his father. Yes. Is that the sense you got as well?
Yes, of course, yeah. And what scene did he choose? I mean, forgive me, on a note floating along the river. It's very, very touching, I think. For me, things are easier now, I think. It has opened up new emotional possibilities for me. I've always been a bit scared of that side of my father, the pushing it too hard and, things going out of hand, and I can realize that I can handle it in another way than he did. I can take care of it afterwards.
Do you have any sense of what you think your father or your grandfather would have said about the final piece?
Well, I hope we're happy. Jan Trell, who worked with my father, insists that my father would love it, and he was a colleague. They were young back in the day, so I hope so. Who knows? Now it's done anyway. I finished it, so that's good, right?
Husk, at du kan finde alle vores tidligere Filmz TV-udsendelser på Filmz under Filmz TV-fanebladet, og også på videovideo.dk, i iTunes og via vores gratis video-app.